Next part we're going to be talking about is about building a good and robust UI for our application. So let's head over to Studio now. I'll be here. So right off the bat, we started off with our main page, and that's the only page we have. So it would be really good to have a separate page to manage our clients, to manage our receipts, and to manage our products, all of them independently on a page, and then later use the main page as a navigation system using a page container. So it's really easy to do. So we'll start off making a new page. We're going to be calling this client. So here we'll just, you can see our model panel is empty, and then we're just going to redo our client widget in here. So we have all our widgets in place, and the live variable is stored in here, so it's good to go. We'll go back to our main page. So now that we moved our client into its own page, we can get rid of all these elements in here. So we'll get rid of the dialog box. I'll be pressing delete here, and this panel in here, and I'll be pressing delete. Not everything is finished because I also have this live variable here. If I just leave it like that, every time I load the main page, I'm going to be loading a list of clients I don't need. So I will also delete the live variable. I will now create a new page. Yes, I want to save my changes. And this will be product. So I'll be managing my products in this page. Okay, so I'll go to the palette. Now I'll get the product, and I'll drop it in here. And so now I have my grid, my dialog box, and a product live variable that reads from the runtime service the data regarding this class object. So we'll also do a receipt manager real quickly. So we'll do this, save it, make a new page. This is going to be called receipt, and we'll just call it admin. Receipt. All right, so now we have 4 pages. One is to manage clients, another one is to manage products, and the other one is to manage the receipts. And all of them are wired up to be able to do CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete operations from the client side using the browser, and it'll just use everything that I explained previously to save records on the database. Now let's make a nice navigation here to our main menu. We'll press save. Now we have a blank frame. Perfect. I like to use these panels as a placeholder for label text. So I'm also going to use, where's label? Label should be here. Okay, perfect. So I placed a panel, and inside the panel I placed a label. So I'll use this panel to center the label in here, horizontally and vertically aligning everything to the center. I'm going to call this POS application. I'm going to increase the size of this to, I want to make it bold. I'm going to make it, I think 24 is good enough. And I'm going to make it, it's going to be aligned in the center, and I want to make it resized to fit. So okay, that's a nice title in here. And it's really good to name these things. So LBL title. Then I'll place another panel under this one, and this panel I will be setting its width and height to 100%. And in this one, I will set another little panel. This is going to be my menu on the left. So I'll probably be using 140 pixels, and it's going to be taking the whole screen. And finally, I want to be using a page container. And the page container will let me navigate through the pages we previously created. So it's taking 100%, 100%. It's good. And then here I can pick which of the pages I want to see first as soon as my main page loads. 99% of the time I would like to have some type of splash screen, so let's create a new page right now. So I'll call this main underscore splash. And all this is going to have is a little label. I'm going to center it and put it in the middle. I'm going to put welcome to the POS application. So align center, style, just make it a little bit bigger, and we're going to resize it to fit. So all this page has is just a little message that will appear as soon as the user loads our main page. So we'll save it. We'll select our page container, and then we're going to select the splash. So as soon as they log in, they'll be able to see it, this main page here. Now that we have our page container with a default page, we're going to go ahead and add some buttons. So I'm going to click the panel here, and I'm going to make sure the horizontal line is centered. So the buttons are nicely centered in there. I'll have a new button. This is going to be called BTN client. So this is the name of this object here, and its caption is going to be client. We'll pump up the size to 120. That looks good. Next, I'm going to add the products. So it's a similar process, BTN product, and the caption is going to be product, and the width is going to be 120 pixels. One more for the receipt administration, BTN admin receipt, and the caption is going to be ADM receipt. I clicked where I shouldn't. There we go. Alright, so they all have names and they have a proper caption. Okay, now we're going to make, whenever we click on this, the page to be switching here. So when we click on the client, we'll go to events, on click, and we're going to do a new navigation. So this is going to be nav client. The operation is going to be go to page container page. The page is going to be client page, and the page container is going to be page container 1, which is this item right here. A similar thing we're going to do for product. We're going to go to events, on click, new navigation, nav product, operation, go to page container page, page name, it's going to be product, and the page container 1. And finally, we're going to do this admin receipt, events, on click, new navigation, nav ADM receipt, and it's going to go to page container page, receipt admin, and page container 1. Okay, so we did a very basic menu and a navigation system into the page container. So let's try this out, pressing run. Okay, our application is running. Let's switch over to Firefox. Let's reload it. So now we have our title here, our buttons, and our splash screen. So when I click on client, it's going to be loading our client application here. We can certainly add some clients in here. I will have to fix the little bug of the dates, but that's okay for now. We covered that already. We can add a product. Let's go ahead and just add a product real quick. Soda drink, and price is gonna be 55.21. Okay, we just added an item here. And for administrate receipts, all we can see right now are the receipts, their total cost, their transaction date, and the related records. Because this part right here is the receipt, and this part is the client. So we'll go a little bit deeper into this when we do create a new receipt for now. So we'll add a new page, which is the one where we're going to be spending most of our time working, which is going to be create a new receipt, because we're not going to use the default methods Studio uses to insert records. We're going to do something more robust, building a service ourselves using Java. So let's go ahead and create a new page and a nice placeholder for a new receipt, and we'll be covering a lot of things like transactions and things like those. So let's just add that right now real quick. We're going to add a new button here. It's just going to be called btn new receipt. New receipt. What I mean by new receipt is actually a new sale. So just don't get confused. Or I'll just rename it. I'm just gonna call new sale. I think it's a little bit more clear. We'll be registering a new sale. We're gonna put that on top of that. We'll create a new page. Save. Sale new. Okay, and now here we're gonna be building a fairly complex page. So we'll leave it blank for now. And I just need the link to it. So on click, new navigation, nav new sale. The operation is going to be go to page container page, sale new, page container. Perfect. Now these nav new sale and nav client and nav product, these are navigation calls, and we can see them here in services. So we can see the WM navigation call, nav admin receipt, nav client, nav product, and nav new sale. And we can do any adjustments in case we need to do these things. We can see these navigation calls here. So one more thing before we wrap up this very simple UI. I would like to point out that by splitting our application in pages, we are showing the user only what he needs to do to work with. So let's take a look in Firebug. Take a look at the console here. We'll reload the page. So we're only having 4 GET requests, and these GET requests download JavaScript, which are the widgets and the functionality on what to do when you click on these buttons. It's gonna do the JavaScript to call the service and to load the page that you need. But there are no post requests because there is no need to load data on our main page. But if we navigate to client, it's loading the widget for client and it's doing a post request and just downloading the data I need for client. It's not downloading information for product or receipts or anything like that, because this page is just for clients. The same thing goes for product. If I clear my console, I'm just going to do a quick post request for the products, and the same with the receipts. I've seen so many applications in the forums in which users don't have the necessary control or or the knowledge that every time you create a live variable here, it's a postback, and that consumes time and resources from the server because it has to go over to the server and fetch that information. So that's running queries onto the database. So always keep that in mind. It's a really good idea to separate everything in pages and keep a really good control on what you're loading, what your user is loading. Another nice tool you can use to um, benchmark or test your UI and see what it's doing is this net right here. So if I click on client, let's clear it out. If I click on client, we load this. Well, I think it already had everything cached, so it's not going to be that nice. But here no, it should be all, I think. Let's try it again. Because it was just showing the post. Okay, there we go. This is, I had it on only the XML header requests, and that's when we get the data. But let's just set everything in all. Let's clear it and let's go running the client. So here you can see the order where things are being loaded and how long it takes them to download in your browser. So you can see we downloaded this ping file or this GIF file and these pictures from. So I guess it must be some pictures that is being used on the widgets and everything. So you can see exactly from what address it got them and how much time it took. So if your application is slow, always take a good look in here, how many requests, if there were get and post, and the total time it took for your page to load. So we'll see product, it took 1.2 seconds last time. Clear it. Let's check receipt. It took 453 milliseconds. So it's pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Our application is starting to look a little bit more like a real application. So we will be getting a little bit more into detail of how to do service calls in the next module. So any questions regarding UI or any questions why your application might be slow, just keep this in mind. This Firebug is really good for finding out what's going on behind the scenes. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I would really wish to hear your comments. So off to the next module about making a new sale.